All right, good evening. Welcome to our March board meeting. If everyone could please rise, and Joe Washley will lead us in our Pledge of Allegiance. To the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you, Joe. Thank you all. All right. Can we get a verification of quorum, please?
Director Medved?
Here.
Director Cooney? Here. Director Bill?
Here.
President Van Vliet?
Here.
Hearing 4, quorum met.
Perfect. While we're on the subject, we had two board meetings last year. One was the open board meeting on February 3rd. One was an executive session we had on February 17th, right before the budget workshop. Is there a motion to approve the minutes as written?
Motion.
Second.
Okay. All in favor of approving the minutes, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed?
Hearing 4, motion carries.
All right. Perfect. Great. Well, we have two very distinguished members of the community here. We welcome you for coming. Thank you for joining us, Mayor Smith and Director Burke. I'll give it to your choice. Who'd like to talk to us first? Mayor Smith. Thank you.
How we doing, everyone? Good. I got a few updates for y'all. If I first want to just say thank you. I just wish the residents would understand just all the hard work that you all have to do when it looks at the budget and all of our subcommittees and all the hard work. I mean, if people even had a clue at what goes into your day to day as volunteers for the community, I think they would be just more appreciative of the hard work that you guys do. So I just want to start off by commending you and appreciate the hard work and dedication that you put in to make the POA the best it possibly can be. With that, tomorrow we have coffee at the Country Club with Darcy Burke and myself. We usually have a couple POA board directors that join us. Lainey, thank you so much for attending last time, along with you, Jeff, Bill. We appreciate the input. It gives an opportunity for residents to come out and hear about what's happening with all three different entities. The big one that I want to talk about tonight is we just found out this week, or actually late last week, that the cemetery is actually up for conversation at the county, which is going to be April 1st. So I just got off the phone with our city manager, and I know, right? April 1st. Go figure. April Fools. I wish it was April Fools, Mr. President. It's not, unfortunately, but because of that, as you know, the city took an opposition on the project. We wrote a letter to the county that we want this project to be dead on arrival. And so therefore, we're going to actually have a business discussion item in our council meeting next week on this very item. Darcy's going to come and speak on it as well. I would encourage the residents, if you're listening to this online or if you're here live, to please show up to our council meeting next week. It's going to be important because we want to give some intel, some information on what we can do when it comes to that first meeting on April 1st at the Planning Commission at the CAC, which is the county building, on what you can do to help oppose the project. We would like to kill it at planning. Either way, it's going to get overturned and go to the Board of Supervisors. But I think if we can get enough people there, especially Canyon Lakers, because this is a very popular item in regards to it being negative. So that's one of the big announcements that'll be taking place. Another announcement we have is tomorrow we actually start our interviews for our police officers. We're filling 14 positions and we received 5 times that when it comes to applicants. So we're very excited about that. I think we're starting with sergeants and CSOs. So we're very excited about just the amount of applicants that we received for our police department. Everything's on track. We're still going to start August 1st. After much debate, our city manager is convinced our chief that July 1st would just be a little bit too much to take on. So August 1st is going to happen. In regards to Railroad Canyon, construction will be completed this month. So that should be coming to an end here shortly, which is good. Everyone will be happy about that. And I just shared on social media, if you haven't seen it, but RSO has done a good job of just educating people of how busy Railroad Canyon is with all the accidents that have taken place. So Canyon Lake has taken an approach to try to make it as safe as possible. We're hoping that Lake Elsinore continues with our safety project down the road. But Railroad Canyon is going to be our problem, especially with our own police department. We want to try to make it as safe as possible. With that, if you all have any questions, I can try to answer them. But I can't believe it's already March. It's unbelievable how quickly this year has happened. So
Mayor, just, you encouraged everybody to attend the council meeting, but for those who were unclear, that is date and time?
yes, it's Wednesday at 6:30 next week is going to be our start for open session. So March 11th, thank you. March 11th,
March 11th.
Wednesday at 6:30. And hopefully we can have a good discussion on that. It'll obviously be streamed online as well. But I really want the residents to tune in. But more importantly, we hope that they can show. We have two opportunities. We have the Planning Commission meeting, which is April 1st, and then we have the Board of Supervisors meeting, which is predetermined based upon how the Planning Commission meeting happens in April.
Thank you.
Any other questions for me? I appreciate the time. Thank you.
Mayor Smith, we thank you. We appreciate your service, your leadership, and your partnership in leading this community. So thank you. Director Burke, welcome.
Thank you, President, board, staff, neighbors, friends. Like the mayor said, we are having coffee in the morning and the hot topic is going to be the water quality risk associated with the Crescent Garden Cemetery project. So if you are feeling uneasy that you're not a technical person, please don't. We are going to have information in everyday people speak. And I know he did the dead on arrival for the project, but we want to make sure that this is about the impact it has on our lake and the water quality, which also not only is a public health issue, it is also about your house value. So I want people to understand that. And I just want to thank Ron Wilbur, Terry Jarvis, and Jeff Bill for all the hard work they have done, putting information together on a website, making sure that information is readable, understandable, and usable. I went through all the documentation this weekend and put together a very first glimpse of what my assessment was. So far, I have 3 pages of deficiencies. So far, I still have to do a deep dive. But there are a lot of issues that I think they just kind of swept under the rug because they want to move the project forward. So we'll talk more about that in the morning. I hope you can join us. And if not, maybe Jeremy and I can have another event later this month in the evening for those that we understand you work. And on another related water quality topic, I got a message on Facebook that there was foam coming out of the stormwater drain into the lake and soap bubbles. And then the message continued that it was from a car detailer. And then they didn't want to tell me where they were or who it was because it turned out to be their car detailer too. And they liked them. So I just want to remind them that there's no car washing in your driveway or in the streets. And because all of those chemicals that are in your soap go into the lake and feed everything you don't want it to feed, which leads me to water quality issue number 3, chickens, poultry. No farm animals are allowed within Canyon Lake. And it was like, oh, nobody will know. Oh, we have a whole undercover little group of us that keep chickens. Don't keep chickens. See, with social media, it's great for us, but there's regulators that watch and listen in here too. And that is not something that we want to have to deal with on top of everything else. So if you keep chickens outside, I think there's the Greenwald girls that keep them outside the gate. Lovely, but not inside the gates. So I think those are my top 3 hot topics. Oh, I also want to thank Director Medved for signing up for the Fostering Water Leadership Program that we have starting actually Thursday. So thank you very much for that. I think it'll be worth your time and hopefully your questions will be answered. Water is not something that is easy to understand. It's very complex. I appreciate your time and your interest. So I'm happy to take any questions.
Yeah, I underscore your comment on chickens, although I love chicken. It's one of my favorite
I do
dishes to
too.
eat. But
In many ways.
But that's right. That said, we're not allowed to have them in our government documents either. So I understand that. Unfortunately, I won't be able to join you and the mayor tomorrow because I have jury duty. But I do have a question about the I'm already on the jury. I'm on the jury. No, unfortunately, it's a messy case, but that's neither here nor there. The question I have, because I'm not as familiar, last time I heard about the cemetery, they were talking about the initial environmental impact report was done by someone who wasn't necessarily qualified to have done one, and there was going to be another one. Can you maybe give us a quick update on what that is all
Yeah.
about?
So I don't know who did this one, but having read it, I would not say that this person's credentials were any better than the last. And let me give you a reason why. One of the things that's lacking to me that is a huge deficiency is they basically said, oh, we're 4 miles away, therefore there's no risk. It's a watershed.
They also
It's
realize it's
into
uphill
lake.
from here, right?
There's no monitoring plan, there's no analysis, there's no response plan, there's no requirements. They have added a vault to the burial, but there's no requirements to quality control of the vault. What happens when the vault fails? What happens in a seismic event? I could go on and on and on, but none of that's been addressed. So that would give you an example. Like, you've never done a monitoring plan, not even what we would consider first flush, which is the first rain of the year. No monitoring plan. And also there's other chemicals on property, paint, gasoline, other things that would be maintenance. There's no plan to mitigate if they have a spill there as well. So there are a lot of issues.
Well, thank you. Sounds like a lively discussion. Look forward to hearing more from all of you on that effort. So thank you. Any other
So I'll
comments or
be there
questions?
tomorrow, Darcy.
Thank you. Anything
Anyone
else?
else? Thank you, Director Burke.
Thank
Appreciate
you.
it. All right. Tonight, it is, we have the privilege of recognizing a man whose life reflects a consistent pattern of service to the country, to his profession, and to this community. Our member of the month tonight is David Humphrey. He currently serves as our chair of the Architectural Control Committee. And if you're not aware, it is one of the most demanding and often underappreciated roles in our association. The ACC is where vision meets regulation. It's where homeowners' dreams for improvements must align with community standards that are designed to protect property values and preserve the character of Canyon Lake. That is not easy work. Every submission represents someone's investment, creativity, and expectation. The committee's responsibility is to review each proposal carefully, interpret governing documents faithfully, and communicate requirements clearly and respectfully. Their goal is not to say no, but to help homeowners achieve their improvements within association guidelines. Under Dave's leadership, the committee volunteers 2 days a week to review applications, deliberate thoughtfully, and provide guidance. That's 2 full days volunteer time per week. That's a significant amount of time, energy, and patience in many cases. Since joining the ACC in 2021, Dave has approached this responsibility with fairness, steadiness, and a solutions-oriented mindset. But his story of service began long before Canyon Lake. He grew up in Westminster, California, and joined the United States Navy right out of high school. He volunteered for Vietnam and completed 3 tours as an aviation machinist mate, working on jet aircraft and flying around in UH-1A and HH-3G helicopters, or Hueys, so sometimes call them. After Vietnam, he served 3 years in southern Spain, working on C-130 and P-3 aircraft, and later completed his service in South Texas. He attained the rank of first class petty officer, an E6, with 9 years of honorable service. After the Navy, Dave continued building and serving in civilian life. He working both in the oil fields with Halliburton Services and then moving to Canyon Lake in 1986. For more than 20 years, he worked as an automotive mechanic, applying the same technical skill and discipline that he defined his military career. But his volunteerism didn't stop there. He has supported Family Matters alongside other dedicated community members. He trained and serves in the Community Emergency Response Team. He's provided first aid at the POA and city events as a volunteer with a small group of other committed volunteers, quietly stepping forward when help was needed. So you can see there's a clear thread that runs through David's life. When something needs to be done, he shows up. Service in combat zones, service in the workplace, service in moments of emergency, and now service in one of the most detailed and complex volunteer service roles in our community and association. So Dave, on behalf of the board and the entire Canyon Lake community, thank you for your leadership, your steady judgment, and your continued commitment to protecting and improving the place that we call home. It's our honor to recognize you as Member of the Month. Almost.
If I might, I'd like to add a short comment about the ACC.
Yes.
These guys work so intense. They meet twice a week.
Yep.
And there's so much work that the board members rotate once a week on Thursdays because no one of us could do it all. Thank you.
Thank you.
I also want to add, you did a great description, but one thing that didn't get called out is Dave's sense of humor.
Yeah.
I think it is his little paraphrasing, the way he approaches things, and perhaps most of all, the way that you really try to make homeowners feel relaxed and at ease when they come in. It's a tough job, and I think you do a great job of endeavoring to make people feel less anxious, more comfortable, and more able to advocate for themselves. So to that, congratulations.
All right, thank you. Well, let's get an update from Community Patrol.
Good evening. Some things I'd like to go over tonight is the January 2026 Community Patrol Report. Overall, that month was a pretty easy month for us in regards to what was going on. However, one thing I would like to really point out is we also began our primary focus on stop sign enforcement during that time, just to kind of see and get awareness out to the community regarding stop signs in the community. In the month of January, 161 citations were issued by patrol officers that were monitoring the stop signs during that time. This was not something that we're going to do continuously, but this was something we wanted to get some data on to see how often it was happening. With that being said, we have started to see it to reduce over time, and which is showing community compliance going on in the community. Other than that, we also did start seeing a little bit more of parking enforcement going on. We would like to take a moment to remind all of our guests that when they are parking on the streets, you will need to display your pass or decal. Our neighbors are concerned about the vehicles on the street, and patrol officers do get called out to address that. So just take a moment to remind your guests that pass that they get from the gate to leave on their dash, so that way it identifies their vehicle.
I have a few things to talk about.
Can I ask a question first?
Oh, I'm sorry.
Zach, will you do me a favor?
Sure.
Will you define stopping at a stop sign for me, please?
When all four wheels are not in motion.
So does that mean kind in motion, two wheels in motion, halfway over the line? I'm just curious.
it means the wheels must stop completely and they are not moving forward or backwards at that time.
Thank you.
The wheels do not go round and round. So, my few things today. First of all, I need to tell you that as an employee of the POA, it is my daily routine to speak to many members of the community. I look forward to Dave coming upstairs to the corporate office with a corny joke, a donut, or a piece of fruit from his tree. Either way, it's always the great way to start the day. So thank you, Dave. The thing is, I love your jokes, and that says something about both of us. So, I look forward to being as funny as you are in the future. Let's talk about last weekend. We had a great concert. Marshall Tucker came and blew the doors off of this room right here. We had a lot of people. And I just want to say thank you to the community for coming in, having a good time. And that was it. We have no stories to tell of anything happening because everybody just came and enjoyed the moment for what it was. We did have a recap meeting on Monday with Doug Schultz and also a Country Fest meeting at the same time. And with what's coming is going to be amazing. It's going to be fun. And having gone through and stepping on our toes a couple of times last year, having done it for the first time, we are so dialed in. The collaboration between the POA employees and our vendors and our membership is going to be amazing for this event. So stay tuned for that. On the citation piece, because of course I have to talk about that, Dave of the Marine Patrol, his team did a sweep looking for the stickers on the boats to make sure that everybody is registered with the POA and the state. Now, this is different from the member services fee that they attach to remind you to bring them a copy of your registration so we have it on file, and then they take that fee off. This is different. This is the stickers. These are your neighbors seeing that your boat is registered, which means it's also insured and it's safe and everybody knows what they're doing. So it's really important to get those stickers on there. His last sweep, there were 1,300 properties looked at, 174 did not have state registration and 24 did not have POA registration. So if you wouldn't mind, get those stickers on there as soon as you can. And that's all I have. Thank you.
Thank you, Ken and Zach. Any comments or questions for them? All right. Thanks so much, guys. Appreciate all what you do for us. All right. With that, let's see. There was a big thing we wanted to talk about today. What was it? I think the budget. Let's talk about the budget. Susan, come on up.
I have member comments if you want to do that first, Bill.
Oh, do we have member comments?
you.
Thank you. Well, Susan, hang on a minute.
Sorry, Susan.
Member comments would be great.
Terry Jarvis.
Hello, 3868-045. Luckily, Mayor Smith and Director Burke already touched on this, but I think it's very, very important not to glide past the proposed development, AKA the cemetery. She did make mention to our committee that we have. We've been working very hard. This is not just a Canyon Lake issue. It's a Lake Elsinore issue. It's also a surrounding community issue when it comes to drinking water. We have a Facebook page. It's saveourlakes.net. We've compiled all kinds of information on that website. You can go to that website and learn all about the research and things that have been done. But this is very, very important. They lightly touched on it, but I don't think people understand the dramatic potential that this has in ruining the recreational activities that we have for our lake. The contaminants and toxins that will enter the watershed will combine with the San Jacinto River, which we all know then flows into Canyon Lake. That runoff goes into the Railroad Canyon Dam and eventually ends up in Lake Elsinore. So part of our next move has been to get the residents in Lake Elsinore aware of this, because this is not just a Canyon Lake problem. We had a function at Hell's Kitchen the other night. It was pretty well attended. We got to some people in Lake Elsinore that we needed. And personally, I and some other volunteers will be out in force in Lake Elsinore sitting in front of their Albertsons, and then hopefully perhaps the following day in front of the Walmart passing out information. The key thing that I think came from tonight is we've been waiting for a date, and it's now April 1st. We will be all over that on our website so that we can get people en masse to that meeting with the commission, the planning commission. These people need to feel the pressure. They need to know that they're elected officials that need to represent their constituents. And everything that we've done with our research shows that this is a bad thing to put near a watershed. It's not the cemetery that we're opposed to, it's the water quality issue. I think somebody mentioned a vault. Again, the vault only has 3 sides. It does not have a bottom. So you can imagine the natural burial process is to lay that body in a shroud or some other type of degradable linen, lay it on top of the dirt. And over time, that body will decompose and all those toxins and contaminants will flow in to our water stream. So I just wanted to go on record to make people aware, saveourlakes.net. And I do have some business cards with a QR code for anybody that would like to pick one up. Thank you for your time.
Thank you, Terry. Thank you for bringing that important item to our attention and for your dedication and volunteering to help spearhead that for the community. Okay.
Just real quick, a clarification comment. Terry said the Facebook page was saveourlakes.net. That is the web page. The Facebook page is Save Our Water and Neighborhood, Stop the Cemetery. That's the Facebook page. And thank you, Terry, for what you did.
All right, thanks. And I was so excited to get to the budget that I skipped one more thing, which is there a motion to approve the consent items, which is to ratify the monthly financial review and the report on executive session actions?
Motion.
Is there a second?
Second.
Okay. All in favor of approving the consent agenda, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Now what we've all been waiting for, with lots of fanfare, let's talk about the budget, Susan.
I thought it would never be my turn. Good evening. Tonight's the night that we get to offer up the operating budget that we've been working on for about 6 months now. So we are pleased to present the operating budget, or the proposed operating budget, for the fiscal year 26-27. This budget has been reviewed by the Finance Committee, by management, and board members. The fiscal impact of this operating budget is a net subsidy of $15,357,693. It's recommended that the Board of Directors approve the attached operating budget as part of the annual budget for the fiscal year beginning May 1st, 2026.
Thank you, Susan. Is there a motion to approve the budget or discuss the budget?
Motion.
Is there a second?
Second.
Okay, we will open the floor to members. I do want to add one comment to what Susan said, which is this has been a labor of love, as it is every time. Our Finance Committee, how many people on the Finance Committee?
7 members.
7 members. They start working with finance and the staff in November. And then they get their books in December, and then they go through detailed reviews where they spend hours and hours reviewing it, determining, assessing it, asking questions. In January, it comes forward for a budget review. And I just want to recognize all the work that's been done by both the Volunteer Finance Committee and also staff in preparing this budget. So thank you for all your work. With that, are there any comments from the members? No comments from the members. All right. Comments from the board. I will open with some comments. A lot changed from what was when the Finance Committee reviewed this initially and came up with the initial recommendation. There were some additional expenses that came in later. There were some adjustments to the to the items in the reserve budget in terms of what gets, how much is put forward in that table and so forth. And so by the time it came forward in January after the budget review, the numbers had changed substantially. And so this recommendation that is provided by the Finance Committee was based on earlier assumptions and had recommended some increases to primarily the reserve budgets because they felt those were low. In reviewing the updated amounts, we found out that things had changed a bit, but we have some better, more current data that modified the numbers a little bit. We took all that into consideration and we had a budget workshop 2 weeks ago. At the budget workshop, we had more people in the audience than we do tonight, where a number of concerns were raised, primarily from the golfing community, having to do with some of the fees that we were charging for annual assessments. They also brought up concerns about congestion on the golf course, particularly on weekends, and they felt there was inequity between the fees that were being charged to annual members versus outside guests. And we appreciate all the comments that were offered. We subsequently, in the last 2 weeks, have gotten together with many members of the golfing community. I personally interviewed all of the golf club presidents. We also talked to some of the past presidents and came up with some new recommendations. So I would like to make some adjustments to the budget as follows. Let me get my notes. So I'd propose that what we do is we preserve the recommended increases that were recommended by the Finance Committee for the annual memberships as is. However, we also went through and did another benchmarking analysis on the greens fees, and we're adjusting the daily greens fees modestly by about the same amount that the annual memberships went up. In addition, we're readdressing our guest fees. Our guest fees need to go higher than the annual membership. And so what we're saying is whether guests are with a member or not, that they will be paying a slightly higher, it's basically $5 more per round. Not much more, but more, to bring back this into balance that a lot of our golfers were concerned about. We are retaining the 20-round package. That was one of the things we talked about, is we're retaining the 20-round package. And I also propose that we add an annual rate for senior golfers who are over 75. That will give them, we heard from a number of members that they're concerned because they're fixed income and so forth, and the costs are getting prohibitive, so we're proposing that. The sum total of all of those changes decreases our subsidy. As proposed, the subsidy for the golf course would have been 16% higher than we actually have achieved so far to date. And to drop, so what's proposed with those changes in some of the fees associated with it, that bring us more equity between guests and residents and make it a little bit better for our seniors. It adds 100 and some odd thousand.
113,000.
113,000, which will bring us to a level which is where we currently are performing from a golf course subsidy. So I would like to make a subsidiary motion that we include those changes to the golf course fees and adjust the operating budget accordingly. Do I have a second?
Second.
Any members wish to comment on that? Oh, I hope you followed me. It was a lot of detail, a lot of work's gone into it. Any questions from the membership? Okay. Susan, the impact to that then on the operating budget does what?
That would bring the operating budget down by the 113,000. So it would then be $15,243,855.
Okay, perfect. Okay. All in favor of approving the operating budget? We're going to have to do a roll call, unless you have another comment. We're going to have to do a roll call on the financial matters. So why don't we go ahead and do it? Go ahead, question?
We incorporated all of the recommended changes.
To the golf fees.
So then we're going to go, I just want to be clear.
You want, if you have another one, if you have any other fees you want to adjust, now is a good time to do it.
Okay. So I would like to make an adjustment to the budget, reflecting that the replacement value, the replacement cost of a lost POA card be reduced for first-time loss to $20, and then a subsequent second loss to 75, and adjust the operating budget accordingly.
All right, we can do that.
So that would be a second, I guess, let's amend the subsidiary motion to make adjustments to the golf fees as proposed and the lost POA card fee as proposed. Okay, first, second,
Second.
all in favor?
Aye.
Aye?
Aye.
Oh, no, wait,
Oh,
can't do that.
call.
We got a roll call. Sorry.
May I just clarify who the first was? Wasn't it Director Cooney? Because she was making the change and then someone should second her. Is that correct?
Correct.
Okay, so who was the second? Was that you?
I second
That
it.
was you. Okay.
So the subsidiary motion is now approve the budget as proposed with the golf fees restructured and with the POA card change, POA replacement card charge.
Okay, and the roll call will be Director Medved,
Aye.
Director Cooney,
Aye.
Director Bill,
Aye.
President Van Vliet.
Aye.
Hearing four in favor, motion carries.
I would like to make a subsidiary motion talking about our reserve
Oh,
levels.
wait till she has to introduce it first.
Oh, she didn't introduce it. Sorry, I got ahead of the game.
All right, I have a second presentation for the reserve funding regarded to the budget. Only the board can authorize the expenditure of reserve funds. The requested budgeted contribution for the repair and replacement reserve fund this year is $3,113,716. The requested contribution for the road reserve is $2 million, and the requested annual budgeted contribution for the CIP or Capital Improvement Fund is $100,000. The fiscal impact of the proposed projects have been contemplated and incorporated into the budget for the fiscal year 26-27. It's recommended that the Board of Directors approve the funding levels presented as an integral part of the Canyon Lake property owner's budget for this year.
Do we have a motion to approve and discuss this item?
Motion.
I'll second. Any member comments, questions you'd like to offer about reserve balances? I bet there's a subsidiary motion coming in.
So now I would like to make a subsidiary motion. We've done a lot of research on repair and reserves, and my subsidiary motion says that we go to 2.8 million for R&R. We go up to 2.1 for road reserves. We felt that needed a little bit more space. And we keep capital improvement project flat year over year at 300,000.
I'll second that. Any comments or questions from the members? Joe, please come forward.
Joe Marshall, 3716, 433. Last year, our reserve for repair and replacement was less than 40%. So we wanted to get some more money into that. And I don't think we should be reducing it to 2.8 million. Somewhere along the way in the next 2 or 3 years, we're going to have a big thing for the country club remodel. And if we don't build the reserve up, we just won't have the money in there and still keep keep our reserve percentage there. So I mean, I just disagree with doing that. I also have a question on this, what was it we just changed, the cards, lost cards, whatever. How did that affect the operating budget? You explained what, 113,000 on the golf, but what's the effect on the operating? Anybody answer that?
Yeah, I'll calculate real quickly. $4,000 the impact. So it's a minimal impact.
4,000 total?
$4,000 out of a $15 million budget. So
okay.
it's de minimis and probably in the fourth or fifth decimal point. So it's a
Okay.
minimal impact.
But I really truly believe part of the R&R this time, I think, is a bunch of money we're putting in from our ER stuff. Basically, you're putting very little in other than what we're putting in for the ER, and where we're normally putting in 2.7 something to the R&R. And I just think that it should stay where it is, or we're going to be trouble later when we start.
Thank you, Joe.
So good questions, Joe. So this doesn't include the tax money. This is all based on our operational budget. The 2.8 million in reserves is estimated to bring us to 48% funded in our reserve fund, which is pretty good. I think most people would be happy with that first step. It's also the highest level of funding we've ever achieved in R&R. Putting up to 2.1 million in road reserves, I think addresses what we would like to see is a little more of an accelerated approach to our streets. For CIP, like I said, we're keeping it flat year over year at 300,000. I think this is a good moderate approach. The country club, as per our recent survey, members said, keep things rolling, keep it nice, keep it in good shape. Don't make big investments. That's the guideline that we're still going to this day.
So I'm going to add a couple of comments too. At the beginning, I said we had some puts and takes to the budget. One of those was, it was in the budget, you can see on the screen up here, is we'd planned $1 million to replace those marina docks. After we got, staff got together, operations and Eric got together, and Steve came forward and said, we can do a service life extension on that where we can modify it for probably about 50,000. And by doing that, we'll buy it another 5 years. And so we obviously approve that, and then we can push that expense out. That saves almost $1 million in the budget. And by doing that and some of the other changes, that's what brought the reserve from 39 to 48. There's still the opportunity for us to put in ERC funds that we received, which the board will discuss at its meeting next month. That would take, if applied, that would take us well above 50%, which would be the highest we've had in ever since I've been on the board.
So you're saying that we're not using, as of right now, to get to 48%, we're not using any of the ERC.
Correct.
I thought we were doing that when we said the thing.
Well, like I said, unfortunately, there were a lot of changes with the things. There were items that were taken out of the capital table and other ones that were deferred, like the docks and so forth, to later, because we can modify it instead of replacing them right now.
Okay, just saying we could be in trouble in the future.
Understand? And the board completely agrees with you. So thanks, Joe. Appreciate your comments. We concur. Reserves are important, and it was certainly one of our board criteria was to increase those, and we feel we're meeting that fiduciary responsibility. So thank you for the comment.
Okay.
Any other comments from the community? I want to add maybe one comment to Bill's. And I think in our discussions, the 2.8 and the 2.1, the high water mark we've ever had for repair and replacement was 2.775 million. The high water mark on roads, except when we've had a big windfall like the lawsuit thing, was 2 million. we recognize that costs go up every year. And if you keep within the Fed's target objective of 2%, we said those ought to be escalated about 3% every year over where they are now. And so the recommendation for the 2.8 was basically, let's go to our high water mark and raise it up, start to raise that up. And same with the road, let's go to that high water mark and raise it up. We still have other reserves available to us that we'll be discussing in the future. But at least just within what's contained here, we pretty much reestablish a good position in our reserves. All right, let's do a roll call.
Director Medved,
Approved. Aye.
Director Cooney,
Aye.
Director Bill,
Aye.
President Van Vliet.
Aye.
Hearing 4, motion carries.
Perfect. All right, Susan, one more.
And finally, to bring it all together, in order to comply with the California Civil Code and ensure that the members receive proper notification of the upcoming annual assessment change, it's necessary for the board to approve the annual assessment for fiscal year 26 and 27. With the changes that have just been added to the budget, the new annual assessment amount will be $4,259. That becomes $355 a month, which is an increase year over year of $5 per month. It's recommended the Board of Directors approve the annual assessment in the amount of $4,259 to be effective May 1st, 2026.
Thank you, Susan. Who would like to make a motion on this one?
I'd love to make a motion.
Second.
Any member comments? Board discussion? I'll just make one note, and that is this is the smallest increase we've seen since I've been on the board, which is great, $5 a month. It's an increase of 1.4%, which I think is great. It's really attributed to the fact a lot of work has gone in, really good financial management from the staff and the associations, what really allowed this to happen. And I want to commend them for their hard work and thank them. So with that, let's do a roll call.
Director Medved,
Aye.
Director Cooney,
Aye.
Director Bill,
Aye.
President Van Vliet.
Aye.
Hearing 4, motion carries.
Thank you, Susan.
Thank you.
Before we go to the next item, I want to just kind of summarize for you what this means. This is budgets can be very complicated. There are tables and tables of small spreadsheets with very small font that you can go through. They're in your package. But I just want to let everyone know what we just voted on. This results in really a minimal impact, the smallest impact I've seen in many years to members. It's well below the inflation rates, 1.4% increase, which is good. It restores reserves to moderate levels. It's a 23% increase in our reserve over last year. So that's substantial. It scales major capital projects to reduce expenditures as requested in the member survey. We addressed member concerns that were raised and voiced at the budget workshops, notably to the golfing community, but also to the parents who had concerns about kids losing their POA cards. And it really leveled the fees in the interests of our members. Finally, it's consistent with the overall board goals we set. So those are the things that happen. I think it's a great outcome. It's nice to have a good news story for a change. And I think I'm certainly very pleased to support that. So with that, let's go on to Tiffany.
Good evening. I don't think my stuff is nearly as exciting as the numbers, but I'll try. So this is a 28-day reading for golf course 9.2. The rule currently allows guests to play golf without the hosting member present. which is inconsistent with how we manage guest access at our other amenities. So this proposed revision clarifies two things. First, that the reservations must be made by the hosting member, and second, the guests must accompany that member. The only exception would be for the outside annual golf members. There's no direct fiscal impact associated with this change, and it is recommended that the board approve the 28-day reading to revise golf course section 9.2 as presented.
Is there a motion?
Motion.
I'll second. Any member comments about this? This is, I will say this, this is one of the primary feedbacks we had at the budget workshop from many golfers. And it makes it more consistent with our, with the rules that we have at all of our other amenities as well. Any other board comments? $5 more per $5 more. $5. Well, whether it's prime, twilight, or super twilight, the guest fee will be $5 more than the member. All in favor of approving this 28-day reading, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed?
Hearing four in favor, motion carries.
Okay, the next one is a rule that the Rules and Regulations Review Committee reviewed on behalf of Patrol. So it's for General Rule 2.4E. It currently prohibits habitual dog barking that unreasonably disturbs the peace. However, the rule includes a really detailed investigation process and procedures. So the committee is recommending removing that procedural language from this rule. This has no direct fiscal impact, and it is recommended to approve the 28-day reading to revise GR 2.14E as presented.
Okay, do we have a motion?
Motion.
Second.
Member comments? Board comments?
Yeah, I do. This is just one of those things that I think, you communicate, and then what? Oh, communicate, and over communicate. And I know there's kind of been out there, like, this isn't changing the rule, correct, Tiffany?
Correct.
And I think that's really important because it is always, well, for a very long time, I don't know, you can quote me the exact year. It has been that you can't have a dog that just barks incessantly and disturbs the peace, in a very notable way. Your work with the Rules Committee has been trying to separate out, I don't know, the wheat and the chaff or the rice and the mango, whatever analogy you want to use, which is taking procedural and process away from the actual rule so that members are just really clear on what the rule is. And then the process is separated out, correct?
Yes.
Okay. And that's important because, one of the things, my feedback was the world has changed since when the only way that, the patrol could investigate was, through perhaps being on properties or whatever. The world has changed with Ring cameras and everything where prior to that, those wouldn't have even been resources that we would have considered. So I just think it's really important that people understand the difference here isn't changing the rule about a dog barking perpetually or incessantly, but it's just removing the way in which you go about verifying that that's in fact an occurrence.
Yes, that's accurate.
Thank you.
How are we verifying that that's an occurrence? I missed part of that. I'm sorry.
So I definitely would be a better patrol question, but from the feedback I got from Zach when we talked about it and what we talked about in our Rules Committee meeting was we get a lot of Ring camera footage, we get a lot of security camera footage, and these were just things that weren't around in everyday homes when the procedural part of this rule was put in place.
Thanks for the elaboration.
Of course.
All in favor of approving the 28-day reading, say aye.
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 Any opposed?
Hearing four in favor, motion carries.
Okay, this is my last 28-day reading. So kind of piggybacking off of what Lainey said about the Rules Committee really looking at our rules and removing a lot of the processes. We have a 28-day reading for our restaurant facilities section, and the proposed revisions streamline this section to focus on enforceable standards, remove redundancy, and improve organization. The changes include consolidating all dress code requirements into a single dress code policy section, relocating the funeral use rule and clarifying that celebration of life events are permitted at both the Lodge and Country Club, and removing all policies related to facility use and catering, as these sections are already incorporated into our facility use policy. There is no fiscal impact associated with these revisions, and it is recommended to approve the 28-day reading of the proposed updates to the restaurant facility section as presented.
Is there a motion? Sorry.
Motion.
Second.
Member comments? All right, board comments or questions?
Quick question. I received a lot of Facebook messages were sent directly to me on this because people are under the impression a funeral service and a celebration of life are the same thing. Can you define that so that people understand the difference of what we're looking at here?
So a celebration of life would, as I understand it, not have a casket. That's like the main, and not have
No
the-
dead body.
Yes, yes, yes. No, yes, no deceased bodies, please.
Thank you, Tiffany.
You're welcome.
Any other comments or questions? All in favor of approving the 28-day reading, say aye.
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 Any opposed?
Hearing four in favor, motion carries.
Thanks, Tiffany. Are you
Aye.
Jose also?
Yeah, I'm here
All
for
right,
Jose.
good.
He wasn't able to make it tonight. Okay, so this is my final board action item. It is to approve a couple groups for our Sanction Club policy that they weren't able to get their information in on time. So we're just bringing them this month. The Canyon Lake Community Garden Club is coming in as a sanction club, and the Canyon Lake Co-ed Softball is coming in as an activity group. It's recommended that the board approve both of these groups and their subsequent categories to be acknowledged as either sanction club or activity group.
Is there a motion?
Motion.
I'll second. Any member comments?
You're welcome.
Don't thank us yet.
Yeah, you don't.
We haven't approved it yet. Board comments? All in favor of approving these two clubs as proposed, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed?
Hearing four in favor, motion carried.
Thank you, Tiffany.
Thank
All right. Let's keep moving. On to Ken.
This is a continuation from last month where we did a 28-day read to make a few changes to LM.2.5. I already kind of spoke to this a little bit with the stickers on the boat speech that I gave earlier, but this adds some verbiage to the rule that better defines and explains to the member what their responsibility is. So it is recommended that the board vote to approve this rule change.
Do we have a motion? I'll make the motion. Do we have a second? No one?
Second.
Any member questions or comments? No member comments or questions? Board members? Yeah. LM 2.5. All in favor of approving this change, say aye.
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 Are there any opposed?
Hearing four in favor, motion carries.
Thank you, Ken. That's quick as you hadn't been in a while, huh? All right. Let's go through board liaison, our reports on committees. Lainey.
My report's short this month. Both the rules, I'm the liaison for rules in the equestrian work group board, and both were dark this month. I think many committees may have been because if they were scheduled on the same night as the budget meeting, they went dark to allow people to attend the budget meeting. So both of those committees were dark. That's where we are with those. And the appeals committee continues to work through the stop sign and speeding tickets and the definition of a California role and how it plays or doesn't play.
Sushi?
Yeah, exactly. But that's it for me.
Thanks, Lainey. I attend the golfing meetings, the Green Committee, the TWG Committee, and also seniors. For the golfing, one of the things I told the golfers that we'd be bringing forward this month is the approval for the bunker project. And as you can see by the agenda, it is not on there. And the reason for that is we are going to do a pilot program. We're going to test out we're going to create one hole where we do the new bunkers. That'll give the Green Committee an opportunity to look at it, provide us feedback, and given that, then we will be bringing that forward for approval in April. If approved, they're talking about doing it this summer when the golf course goes down more, as proposed. So anyway, that'll be coming forward for the golfing community. On the senior committee, lots of exciting news there. So we have a chair volleyball group that actually meets in this room twice a week rather, every month. And we have 3 chair volleyball teams that will be competing in the Senior Olympics at the Sun City Community Center on Saturday. So if any one of you are interested in supporting our local athletes, we encourage you to go. Also, there is a Donuts with Dialogue on Monday, April 6th. That will be Supervisor Karen Spiegel is coming in to again talk with anyone in the community, but focus is really being on seniors, on what do the seniors in the community want or need from Supervisor Spiegel. So if nothing else, you get a good dialogue, you get free donuts, and encourage everyone to go to the Senior Center on Monday, April 6th. It's at 9:30 a.m. They're going to host a wellness fair in April, tentatively April 18th, but there'll be more news coming out on that next month. And that's a good thing where you can go and talk to people about various wellness things. We'll be inviting the fire department. I don't know if the CERT committee will be there or whatever, but again, just good things to help focus on your health. They have a monthly potluck. Their next free dinner is April 26th, so stay tuned for that coming in. And I want to take the opportunity to remind everyone the Senior Center is right by the main gate. We also have a motorcycle parking lot there that we just rebuilt, put a gate in and so forth for everyone's protection. There are people that are still parking in the Senior Center parking lot, and those will be ticketed. So I want to remind everyone, if you are parking a motorcycle in the Senior Center parking lot, to please move it, because if not, you will receive a citation. And that's enough for me. Jeff.
I'm the liaison for the SAC and the FPC. There's not a lot to say about the FPC as they've become an ad hoc committee, though we do have some projects that we talked about that might be going their way here soon. Regarding the Security Advisory Committee, they've been working on a number of projects. We looked at the exit lane safety measures. We evaluated gates, speed bumps, rumble strips, chicanes, road spikes, and some other items as well. But when we looked at them, there's some issues where it's a negative impact. The spikes can be dangerous. It can be noise. We have to make sure that those are not obstacles if a safety vehicle or first responder vehicle has to come in through the exit gate. So we're holding off on that. We didn't really identify any alternative, although we're still looking into that. Regarding the lodge area enforcement with the e-bikes, the restrictions prohibiting the e-bike use, sometimes it doesn't seem like it, but it has helped. We aren't seeing as many e-bikes or finding as many kids out here as we have in the past. The SAC also reviewed the feasibility of the implementing RFID technology. I think that Terry Jarvis worked very hard on that for a couple of months. It's not really feasible, as we would have to have some sort of transponder every few hundred feet. The metals of cars, the plates on the bikes, everything like that would interfere with it. So They determined that that was just not a practical solution based on the modifications in the community, line of sight requirements in some of the areas, and just the overall expense. The golf course perimeter security initiative, that was taken away from further evaluation because we have put a gate over there to address the unauthorized access. So overall, the SAC's been pretty busy, and there's more to come, and they are really doing a great job of looking at safe alternatives for the community. That's all I have.
Thanks, Jeff. Bill?
I'm the liaison for the Finance Committee. We have not been very busy lately. I'm joking. But now, the culmination of all that effort, and thank you, Susan, for being such a wonderful partner on that journey. The Finance Committee is already starting to look forward to next year. I think the last couple of years, we've been focused on the operational budgets. Now we want to move into other areas to continually improve. Just a reminder, there's a new board that their intent to file deadline is March 10th. If you're interested in running, this is the time frame. And the reason I bring that up is when the Finance Committee, for example, refines what it wants to look forward for next fiscal year, we will talk about it, negotiate and discuss with my fellow board members, agree on that vision and move forward. Lake Advocacy Committee, there's been a lot of data that we've been taking a look at, and we are going to do the same sort of thing with the new board coming in. We're going to we're discussing, potential changes and focuses in the next fiscal year, which again will be brought back in with the new board as we agree on the vision for that committee as well. Thank you.
Thank you, Bill. Eric, how about a GM report?
How about one? Okay. Thank you all for coming. As usual, I like to direct people to the staff reports, which start on page 64 of the distribution package that you found on the table out there or is available online. I'll just do a quick run through of what several of our departments are doing this month. In the communications department, they've been working on 18 active campaigns. Member services served 3,263 members this month. And that's almost 16,000 memberships if you count prime members, co-members, property managers, associates, and tenants. And that number includes 1,693 tenants. Recreation department worked on over 257 community functions this month, and 138 of those were club functions. Marshall Tucker Band, as was previously mentioned, our concert promoter, Doug Schultz, really negotiated a great deal for us. Got a big name band here. First time in my 10 years here that a band pulled up in not one of their own tour buses, but two of their own tour buses, not rented or leased buses, but their own buses. And Doug Gray tried to sell me one of them. I wasn't buying. But he's a great guy, and it was a really great show and absolutely sold out, and really the biggest act we've ever had in our little 300-seat room here. So bigger and better things ahead, and thanks again to Doug for doing these shows for us. And we also had a meeting, as Ken mentioned, on Monday, looking ahead to Fiesta Day, which is Saturday, as you all know, and another free Country Fest on the Sunday following Fiesta Day. And this year we're having Brian White, Deanna Carter, David Cook, and Colin Ray. It was such a great event last year and such a good success. We went bigger and better, and everything about this year's Country Fest is going to be bigger and better. I think we're going to have 2 7x15 LED screens for the people in the back can see the acts close up. There'll be one screen facing the audience, another one facing the people in their boats. So bigger and better, and a very nice amenity for our members that's free as part of your dues. So thanks again to Doug for that. And recreation and operations and everybody that helps put these shows on. Security, it's really a team effort from top to bottom. Accounting. There isn't a single department that doesn't get involved, honestly, when we put on these big community events. Planning and compliance this month in their report, they have 887 open permits. Most of them go through that gentleman back there. and the ACC committee, and 788 open violations. So planning and compliance, not the most popular department, but always busy and doing their job. Same thing goes for the ACC committee. Really thankless jobs, all of these. Operations department has been working on golf field maintenance and leveling the field. They're rebuilding the Eastport motorcycle shade structure. That's being replaced right now. We're also adding a backup generator at the country club. The country club restaurant and facility is on the same circuit, the same Edison circuit as Longhorn. And for some reason, that circuit, I think because there's a lot of overhead lines there, we have very frequent power outages when it's windy or Edison does a fire safety type shut off. So we will be adding backup generator there, and after that, which will keep the country club running. The only glitch to that is our point of sale system is at the POA building. And so they may be able to keep their power running, but if it's community wide, in order to keep our internet functioning and their point of sale functioning, and this is something we've talked about for years, in the near future, we're going to be looking at doing a backup generator at the POA corporate offices where all of our servers and point of sale system are. And what else? Operations has also been working on installing new arena footing at the Equestrian Center. And that is all my highlights for the month. So thanks for coming. And thanks to the board and the finance committee and Susan for unbelievable amount of work every year putting this budget together. It's not a simple process, and insane amount of work and conversation goes into this, and a lot of thought. So thank you to everybody who slaved over this for the last 6 months.
Thank you, Eric. All right, let's do closing comments by the board. Bill.
I just want to echo the amount of work and collaboration that goes into, we're continuing to look at ways to improve the budget process. And again, thank you to Susan, our financial controller, for being such an awesome partner here. And I'm looking forward to great things from the Lake Advocacy Committee next year. I just want to thank everyone for pitching in and working together.
In closing, I wanted to actually thank Steve and our operations group. He saved us over $900,000, as you heard earlier on that dock. We were looking at replacing it, $1 million. I mean, that just bought us another minimum of 5 years. So I wanted to thank you for that, Steve, and your team. Also, I want to thank this guy right here, Bill Van Vliet. The dues increases have been less the last couple of years each year, and that is in large part to his leadership. Now, I hope he's not listening because he's already conceded, but he has led the charge on setting and meeting goals. Susan has done a great job at the finance committee. She's walked the path that was laid out by Bill. And honestly, a $5 increase in dues, I think that's manageable. I think Susan and the finance committee, under the leadership of Bill Medved and Bill Van Vliet, have just done a great job. So I just want to thank everybody for that. I also want to remind everybody about the election. Get your paperwork turned in if you want to run for the board. It's not as horrible as you think, but it's not as good as you want it to be. So also April 25th from 10 a.m. to 2 p.m., we are having another bike safety event. It's going to be at Sierra Park. It's going to be put on by the security committee, led by Ken Toller. They're putting that together. Are we going to have any donations and raffles this year, Ken? TBD. Okay, well, I'll donate one thing. So we got one thing where we got a raffle. Might be small, might be a safety helmet, might be a skateboard. Who knows? And I would appreciate it if the clubs could join in and help with this. We are always looking for volunteers for this. We have a pretty good turnout. We only have 7, 8 people from the security committee, and not all of them can make it. So anyone who wants to volunteer, we'd really appreciate it. And it is for safety purposes for the kids. And the last thing I want to say is I hope to see a lot of you at the coffee meeting tomorrow. The Save Our Lakes webpage is saveourlakes.net that Terry mentioned. The meeting coming up on April 1st, we need people to go to that meeting if you don't want to see a cemetery leaking into our lake. We need people to show up. Reach out to us through saveourlakes.net. You can get to Terry. He's got a card with a QR code on it to make it easy to get to the website. But we need people that commit. A lot of people say, how can I help? Then they don't show up or they don't respond. We'd really like it if those who say, how can I help, would step up and help. And I'm just going to leave it at that. Thanks, guys.
So two announcements and then bringing it home. First, those of you that love to join me in swimming, the pool opens on Monday, the 16th. So all of my little aquatic friends that come down and do laps and various other activities, all joking aside, we're really excited to have the pool back open for those activities. I don't love going to a gym. I love being able to use the pool that's located right in our community. So super excited for that. That's Monday, the 16th. Second, we have a new homeowners meeting coming up in the very near future. Andrea, I don't remember the exact date. Forgive me while you're looking it up. Or
I currently don't have a new date, but I do know that it's due coming up in I think a month and a half. So
okay,
we'll be doing it soon. Yes.
So just a plug for both any, as we publish the date, any club presidents, it's one of the things that came up during the club presidents meeting that want to come to the new homeowners meeting. What that is people who have just recently purchased a house. So we hold it twice a year. So it's obviously in the last, couple months, 6 months. The board members are there to answer questions. The ACC members, usually somebody from the ACC comes, and we really try to start it off on a very positive note and build networking from the very beginning. Those of you who have been here for a long time, and I said this the other day at the meeting, remember we used to get a knock at the door from the women's club or the junior women's club, and they would drop off a basket of swag and other things. And so this is our modern day replication of that rather than going door to door. So when we get the date published, really, hope that if you have a new neighbor, a friend who's recently moved in, it is just a great way to get a lot of information and meet people who are new to the community at the same time. And then just closing comments about the budget. We've all talked about, how much work that's gone in. That's what you elected us to do. That's what people are paid to do. And I think we delivered that. But perhaps more importantly, to look at a dues increase of $5 a month, which is 1.4% increase and the lowest that it's been, to raise our reserves to 48% from where we were, I think is pretty remarkable. And really, when we came into this year, the community survey, because we actually remember it, was very clear to us. And it said, making sure that you were tightening our belt and rationalizing our spending to positively impact our subsidies, to increase our reserves to ensure future financial stability and amenity maintenance, better communication and more transparency. And then we layered that on with the board goal, and specifically the board goal to balance spending and savings to improve the 2026 repair and replacement reserves to 45% or greater as projected. And I think we delivered on all of that. And I personally am really proud to sit here tonight with my peers and say, I think that is a very positive outcome to a lot of work. And I hope the community is as pleased with the budget as I think we are. Thank you.
Very good. Thank you, Lainey. I think they've said it all. I want to congratulate Dave for a well-deserved member of the month. We truly appreciate all the hard work you and the whole committee do. And also, again, the credit really for all the hard work on the budget and the outcome really has to do with we have a great management staff, and they're the ones that really take it seriously. They're the ones that make very deliberate decisions and delivered on the results. And I want to say thank you to everyone who does that. So with that, thank you everyone who attended tonight. Thank you for that. And let's see, is there a motion to adjourn?
Motion.
I think I heard a first and a second. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Good night, everyone. Thank you.
Good night.